Hello and welcome to the first conversation that Indrani Mukerjea is having ever since she's written her first book, Unbroken. It is an incredibly explosive book. Indrani Mukerjea, who's at the center of one of the most sensational murder cases that India has ever seen, speaks out for the first time and provides her defense about the charges that she faces. She has spent 6.5 years in Baikala jail, where she emerges and talks about essentially the first kind of camaraderie she has felt being a woman. She's been at a center of a strike. She also talks about being accused of murdering her daughter, Sheena Bora. It was one of the. It's a case that has shocked the nation. It's a case that kept everybody glued onto television. It's a case that it's charges that she faces with her first husband as well as her second, Peter Mukherjee, a media tycoon. Here is to Indrani talking about this rather explosive book, and this is the first time she's done so. Here, so Indrani, I would like to begin with really talking to you about the first to begin with asking you about something that you write about in the book, a case talking about how you were abused by your father, and in a way, Sheena is the result of that abuse. I wanted to ask you. It was you write about being angry. You write about about how shocking it was. But can you talk really about how difficult was it to talk about this incident that has dominated your life?
See, the thing is, I think it is high time, I deal with my own demons because these are things that have been kind of, I've somehow pushed it back for a long,
Mm,
long time. And I have also, as everyone aged, I have also learned to forgive. It is more of that. For me, that was, I think, a moment of forgiveness. It is more of that, right? And like you've already read in the book what I have written, what got me to write and reveal so much in my book? Let's talk about what got me to write
mm,
so much.
yeah.
Is, I think, A, dealing with my demons, B, it is obviously a catharsis, and it was a healing process for me. And I think it will also give a lot of people, I think, the kind of courage or the initiative to come out with abuse. I think which people normally, even youngsters, they, I think, families suppress it. Youngsters are afraid to talk about it.
Mm,
And I think these things are very, very important to kind of deal with. And I think if somebody like me can come out with these kind of things, I think other people, whether it's girls or boys, there are many even young boys who get abused.
mm,
It's just about
mm,
children. Let's talk about
mm,
children. I think child abuse is so common, but people are just afraid to come out with it.
mm,
So it's just
mm.
important, I think, to give that kind of this thing that maybe I with dealt with it after a very long time, but you can come out with it, and I think it helps you heal. It's just that's the reason I did it.
In the book, you talk about your sister-in-law asking your daughter Vidhi call you Lucy, which is short for Lucifer. Can you really talk really about that?
Yeah, yeah, I've written it in my book. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, I mean, see, those things were, like I said, they make, actually, funnily enough, when I heard about these things, I almost had a good laugh, you know. I was
Mm,
not even, because by then I think I had healed enough. So when
mm,
I heard about all these things, when Vithi came to prison and she told me, hey, listen, this is what I was told, that, you should actually call her Lucy, short for Lucifer. I almost laughed. I said, how petty can people get?
mm, mm,
People are, I think, just so caught up in their own grief and distress. And I have written why I think even Peter's sister has reasons to be a very unhappy woman. She is not a very happy woman, I think, for reasons obviously what she should talk about. I should not talk
mm,
about it. But I think somehow I get a feeling that, it is a very sadistic approach towards life, where people somehow find happiness in other people's unhappiness,
Mm,
so, or other people's grief. So I
mm,
think I encountered a lot of people, or I got to know that a lot of people who are around me perhaps possess that kind of an attitude or that kind of an approach in life, which is really
mm.
sad, really. I think,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they can't be happy. So if I could be in prison and be happy, and they have all the freedom in the world and everything in the world, and they are so unhappy, then I have very little to say. There's very little to say, really. I think peace is so internal, and it is
Yeah.
from within. And
Mm.
which is why I think I can say that I'm standing tall and high, and I'm not shrinking. And I have, I've done and I'm still doing what I have to do.
One of the other things you talk about in the book is about how much women really support each other in jail. You write about the fact that in some ways the only camaraderie, as women that you really find is in Baikala jail. So can you really talk about that, about being in jail, about being a woman, and the kind of camaraderie and support you really find there?
Uh, like I said, I've already written it in my book a lot.
Mm,
However, just to kind of concise it and maybe put it in a just a very few short words. I think what happens in jail when, most women in prison for the
mm,
same crime get abandoned by their families.
mm,
Whether it's the in laws, for sure, 90% of the women get abandoned by the in laws, even if the in laws have actually put them in the path of crime. It's not that, like, everybody in prison is not guilty. Everybody in prison who go to prison are also not innocent. So there is a
mm,
balance of that, people who get framed and people who are actually even habitual criminals, right?
mm,
And what I've noticed, which is even really, that's really sad, I have met women who get pushed into crime by their families and immediately abandoned the moment they are in. There's nobody to support them. And I think there is a sense of resilience that I think develops in these women who get abandoned. So some of them kind of decide after that. I've met people also who have said कि हमने तो कुछ किया नहीं है पर अभी बाहर निकल के तो करने वाली हूँ. It's like that. Okay, that's the innocent love, because they are
mm,
so enraged, and it is they are not enraged actually so much by the fact that they are in prison, or they have been wronged by the system or the cops. They are more enraged about the fact that they have been let down by their families, and this
mm,
is the common thing I think that binds women in prison,
mm,
that you are standing on your own
mm,
and you have to fend for yourself.
mm,
So that is one common thread. And the other thing is that a lot of women, even who people who are illiterates,
mm,
find the inner strength which they knew that never existed. And there
mm,
is a, strange way where women actually bolster each other's confidence that you can do it, you definitely will do
mm.
it, and then they're helping each other with kind of lawyers. And there is something that's coming up which
Yeah.
maybe Shabnam or my kind of team will let you know, which we can
Mhm.
do. That's a very interesting thing that I'm
Mhm.
doing very shortly. Actually, that's going to happen in the next couple of weeks. My aim is to try and rehabilitate at least 400
Mhm.
women
Mhm.
prisoners who have kind of come out of prison and are still kind of struggling,
Mhm.
because they have not been really kind of being able to go back to the society with a proper vocation or with proper earnings, so they are still
Mhm.
kind of struggling. I'm trying to help these people out and kind of get them to do things. So
Mhm.
let's see, that is my aim, that in a year's time I should be able to help out these 400
That's
to 500
that's
people.
that's wonderful. So I wanted to ask you, you say that you cannot really understand why Sheena, you present evidence in court that she might be alive, and you say that you cannot imagine why she's been quiet for so long. And I wanted to ask you, do you think in some ways could it really be that she was resentful in some ways? History repeated itself with Sheena about the abuse that you faced with your father.
No, not really, because she was not in contact even with my parents for a long time. At least she's never spoken about it in front of me. So I don't think so. I don't think so because she left home also quite early. That
Mm.
was one thing. So she came to Bombay, right? She came and started
Mm.
living with me. So it was a different this thing. But whether there was any form of abuse, it doesn't have to
Yes.
be with my father. But if
Yeah.
if there was any abuse, because she did talk about abuse, and I think a lot of it kind of is going to come out in different, because I can't talk about it right
Yeah.
now because the case is sub judice. Well, there is a possibility, but I don't think the possibility was with my father. Yes, there could have been abuse, which is why I think he chose a path just to vanish. This is what I also feel.
So, the case, while it was, while it played out, it also really about was being a, it was also about being a mother. And some of the questions and some of the aspects that that you faced was about whether you were a good mother or not. And I really wanted to talk to you about that, the aspect that, about being a good mother.
See, I think a any form of, even if you kill an animal, I think that's the worst crime you can commit. Okay, forget about a human being, and here we are talking about filicide, which is like, it's serious. uh, I'm not talking about the legal aspect of it.
Yeah.
I think you have to be really demented, and you have to really, one would have really, there's something wrong in your head if you would have to go and kill your child. Either it is circumstances which are, I mean, there could be only three possibilities if you have to go and. This is in my opinion, okay?
Mm.
I'm not talking about here, we are not talking about my case at
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
As a mother, if you have to take the life of your child, it is only possible if you're deranged in your head,
Mm.
or there is a circumstance which is absolutely kind of very a compulsive circumstance where you have no choice,
Mm.
or it is an accident. There are only three possibilities, because I cannot think of any third reason why it would happen in any family, right? The stories that floated around was that I was against the relationship, because of which, this entire episode happened. Now, to start off with, Sheena had been living with Rahul for over 3 years. So, isn't it really very odd that one fine day I would just decide, hey, listen, I don't like this. So let's like plan one big murder, and let's all get into a car and commit a murder. So it's like, it almost sounds bizarre, that's the first thing. And then the second thing is that also what doesn't really add up, if I'm unhappy that my daughter is having a relationship with whoever the person is, why would it be my daughter? Why not the other person? Now, talking about being a good mother or a bad mother, now I'm coming to that part, okay, which is the social judgment. So,
Mm.
everybody forgot about the case. Actually, people started scrutinizing, me as a good mother or a bad mother or the worst mother alive. And it had got, oh my God, how could she kind of abandon,
Yeah.
her children? So, when we are talking about abandoning, I didn't exactly leave my kids on the street. That's the first thing. Okay. So that is one part of it. Also, I think there is no good mother or bad mother. A mother is a mother. And every mother raises their child or children the way they think and believe is the right way. And that is exactly what I have done. And in my head, I do not believe I'm a bad mother. I have done For all my three kids, I have done what is best for them, and I will continue to do that.